Salute to everybody watching. What's good with everybody? This is DJ Bless One, and I got to call out the Miami Dolphins today. You're reading the title correctly because what we just saw on Sunday against Indianapolis Colts proves one thing. The Dolphins messed up big time by not drafting Shedeur Sanders. Now, let's keep it real. Miami didn't just lose to the Colts. They got dominated. We're going to watch these receipts and videos, but let me just talk for a little bit. They got dominated. They made Daniel Jones, yes, Daniel Jones, look like the second coming of Dan Marino. And if that doesn't wake up this organization, I don't know what will. Now, let's talk about Tua. I know the Dolphin fans love him, but let's stop pretending like everything is perfect. Even at Alabama, he was coddled with five-star receivers and offensive linemen all around him with that studded defensive stars he had. So in other words, he's a plug-and-play guy, but also a system guy. So if the system ain't doing right, he loses. But hell, the system is what gave him a name to begin with. Jalen Hurts was what made Alabama what they were, but Jalen Hurts was proof that he was always better than Tua. So we're going to talk about this, man, but it seems this guy keeps regressing after every year. We're going to play these receipts. We're going to get started, but give me my goddamn theme song.
I've been broke so many times, I don't want to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve.
I'm eager and ready to just get on with it. So let's look at what we're actually watching together with real receipts. So the Colts versus the Dolphins just was an embarrassing defeat, 8-33. I'm talking they made this organization look well and just above the rest of everybody else. I'm talking like, what is going on with the Dolphins? So you tell me this coach is a great coach, but yet he doesn't need a certain quarterback. That's not the case at all. You have the Mercedes-Benz, you have the engine in those Mercedes-Benz, but you don't have the driver. Without the driver, it's just a team that's just here to be here. You need an actual driver, a.k.a. quarterback. Now, even right now, Quinn Ewers, the rookie from Texas, undrafted rookie that is, seems to be a far better selection because he was balling in the preseason. Although it's the preseason, look who you have to live with. Let me play those interceptions by Tua. Look at this. Yeah, let's look at your great quarterback. Once again, the guy keeps regressing. That's what you have to deal with. Let's look at the stats. Tua Tagovailoa, 14 of 23 for 114 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. You know what that spells? We got 2 big problems. We have a quarterback problem, and we have a head coach, because he's the real offensive coordinator, Mr. Daniels, Mike Daniels, whatever his name is. He got to go because he got hyped up based on who we have. We have Jaylen Waddle, that is, and your boy Tyreek Hill. They'll make any coaching quarterback look good. Can we stop being like prisoners of the moment and just tell the truth? Because if Tyreek doesn't play good and Waddle doesn't play good, game over for us. But guess what? They're always open. Our quarterback can't deliver the ball. He has a weak arm. I don't care how accurate you think he is and pretend he is. Tua has a weak arm where Shador would take over easy. Daniel Jones was 22 of 29, 272 yards and 1 touchdown. He looked like the goddamn second coming of Dan Marino. Am I lying? Let me put out the cheerleaders right quick because you guys, we need a Miami cheerleader in this building right quick because I don't think you're paying attention. So pay attention to her. Now, Shedeur Sanders, he's durable. That's what we know about him already. His offensive line doesn't have to be much of superstars at all for him to get an internal rep of the situation and actually execute the plays properly. That means he has to use his own skill set most of the time because all of his offensive coordinators are pure trash, if we're being honest. Yes, Pat Schumer is pure trash. I'll be doing a separate video on Pat Schumer. Let me get this cheerleader the hell out the way because we're getting a little serious right now. We need to look at these stats and understand what they are. This is regression at the highest degree. Look at our rushing game. It's suffering because when you have a lack of passing game and you know you can just prioritize your blitz packages only aimed towards making, Tua uncomfortable, then game is over with. Dolphins will automatically lose. This is factual. So our rushing game becomes predictable. Therefore, look what you get. 7 carries of 55 yards. And look at the average, 7.9. Look at Malik Washington. Look at his yards average, 9 yards. You know what I mean? So what does that spell? That's the quarterback is the issue. The running backs are good to go. I'm sorry for being a guy that has to be honest with you guys, but our quarterback is the damn problem of everything going on. Now that you guys seen this, what's going to be the new excuse? I looked at my Dolphins and I said, man, me being a Florida guy, getting Shedeur Sanders has nothing to do with me thinking that he's going to be the saving piece. And because I ride for Shador and Dion, no, bro. I looked at what we actually needed. Fine, if you're going to make Tua the starter, cool. But if you had Shador there as an insurance plan, as a guy to give competition to Tua, you just gave him blindly a contract that he really didn't deserve it. Once again, Jaylen, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. Even our plug-and-play receivers were doable to be starters on other NFL teams. So he was always cushioned and protected. I don't want to hear about our offensive line. I just showed you the running back stats. Look at our receiving stats. You know what I mean? Look at it, bro. 4 for 40 by Hill, Waddle, 4 for 30. They're waiting to burst and have a breakout year, but look who's the quarterback. Listen to Tua at least be honest about what happened. So let's let Tua respond to this.
Well, you never want to look at it as, well, this is just...
Hang on. Before we listen to Tua, I want y'all to do me a favor and look in the comment sections. You're going to see 2 women who are pinned up. One of them is Love Child, the producer. She got great beats for sale, but also it's not just for you guys to purchase her beat. Her channel is actually therapeutic. So if you're having a long day of work, you want to go to sleep, lay down. She has all these instrumentals and beat selections, smoothing sounds. I implore you to subscribe to Love Child, the producer. And also, I'm not the only one going hard in the paint and being honest. When I told you about your favorite YouTubers, Discern Goddess is not one of them. She's much like me. She's going to give you the truth with no filter. And this is a woman representing for all people. But the fact that she's a woman debunks everything they like to say and stereotype about women. She is here to stay, and this woman is phenomenal. Now, with that being said, let's listen to Tua's continuing excuses since his days at Alabama.
You never want to look at it as, well, this is just week 1. We're going to take our loss. Like that's never how we want to look at it. And the way we lost, that's just, nobody pays, none of the fans pay, to watch the Miami Dolphins go put up 8 points and drop, and watch the other team drop 30 on them. That's just not what they do. So there's a lot of things we need to look at. We need to look in the mirror. We need to continue to hold each other accountable for what it is. And, I would definitely say it starts with me. And I think as a team, collectively, this was something we were trying to avoid. But could this be good for us? I don't know.
No, it can't be good for you. And speak up. Put some bass in your voice, my guy. Like, shout out to our legend, our fullback legend, Larry Costanza, who got mad and said they were unprepared, uninspired, unacceptable. And I was a kid listening to the greats talk about him. And this was in the 90s. I know he's before that time, but to hear the greats glove about him, when he comes out and say this, you better pay attention, because a lot of our legends really don't say anything and they don't speak about anything. We need more legends to speak on it. We need Brian Cox to speak on it. We need Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, a whole lot of other people. But the Colts fans have been celebrating because they felt like they won the Super Bowl against us. That's how awful we were.
Hi, folks. It is good to be back here inside Lucas Oil Stadium after a 33-8 Colts win. You hear the music. Beautiful day by you two. It was a beautiful day, Dad. What is your favorite part about one of the more dominating performances we've seen from this franchise in the last couple of years? I can't remember last time we won by more than 3 possessions. Well, hi, folks.
To see a father and son together is a beautiful thing, but off the backs of the Dolphins and knowing you could have get Shedeur Sanders, it's uncomfortable. You could have literally got Shedeur Sanders. A lot of you teams could have. Now let's talk about Tua. I know Dolphin fans love him, but let's stop pretending like everything is perfect. Tua has been regressing year after year, even before his big contract, after his big contract. So man, Shedeur should have been the safe haven pick. Look, Tua has never been known as a guy who's been consistently able to carry this team without leaning on his wide receivers. Because let's be real, Tua had Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill making him look good. Those guys can turn a 5-yard pass into a 50-yard highlight. Can we be real? Those Mike McDaniels, whatever our coach name is, those bubble screen passes remind me of Pat Schumer bubble screens at Colorado. We got so much good skill players that they don't want to take risk on certain play calling, play action passes. So they stick with the typical Stitch, Pop, Warner bubble screens. And that's like so predictable for a defense to stop it. Any decent quarterback in the league would look good throwing to those two greats, Waddle and Hill. Look, that's not me being disrespectful. That's just facts. And here's the part Dolphin fans don't want to think about besides Shador being the selection. Tua is one hit away from being done for the season. We've seen it before. We've seen the injury. We know his history. Shedeur Sanders doesn't have the same history. Like I said, one thing all the scouts can agree with, Shedeur Sanders is a durable quarterback that can sustain for the longevity of the season, no matter how much hits he kept taking. By the way, unlike Derek Carr, shout out to his career, but he had to retire. He couldn't take the hits no more. Andrew Luck couldn't take the hits no more. But Shedeur Sanders never really throughout his career had an offensive line that was strong enough to protect him, and he sustained himself. That means he's strong and ready. Texas made, Florida lineage. I'm going to leave it at that. But Southern people make strong players. It is what it is. Argue with me later. I'm just speaking facts. So we've seen it before. We've seen the injuries. We know Tua's history. And the fact that this organization didn't prove themselves by drafting Shedeur Sanders is crazy. You had the chance to get a young, proven leader who could be the safety net for this franchise, and you passed. Miami had opportunities in multiple rounds of the draft to grab Shedeur Sanders round after round. They skipped. And now look where we are. Look at you guys. A shaky quarterback situation, a team that just got exposed by the Colts, and a fan base that knows deep down this team is one injury away from collapsing. Because if Tua gets injured, we have no safety net. No disrespect to Quinn Ewers, but come on. What safety net do we really have? Right? And that's the problem. We have an organization that's ready to pop and become a Super Bowl contender, and you guys won't take the risk of doing what other franchises are willing to do. That's getting rid of their high draft pick quarterback so they can get a favorable selection. You may not like Kyler Murray, but he was definitely better for the Arizona Cardinals versus Josh Rosen, the activist quarterback. The Cardinals a year later got rid of him. We don't care if you're a first rounder. If it's evident you're not the future, get him the hell out of here. Don't be like the Cleveland Browns. A 21-year-old Joe Flacco on Sunday, how did that work for you? Yeah, he threw for over 180, 90 yards. How did that work for you, though? We've seen Joe Flacco have 400-yard games, 300-something yard games he averaged for like 6 weeks in a row. We've seen this for over 20 years, over 2 decades of Joe Flacco being this. How has it worked in the winning department? Exactly. But we'll keep going, man, because imagine if Shedeur Sanders was sitting on the roster right now. Imagine having a quarterback who's already shown he can elevate teammates, who's already shown he can stay poised under pressure, who brings star power where Miami desperately needs it, because we're not the city of the cocaine cowboys days. This is not that anymore. But this guy whose name, Mr. Primetime Son, no, Mr. Shedeur Sanders is his name, who brings the star power and leadership that Miami hasn't had, let's be honest, since Dan Marino. I'll even be fair, maybe a Jay Fiedler. A lot of you guys don't remember him, but I do. He could have sustained success to us, but our front office, as usual, they failed again to provide the resources. But with Shedeur, you don't need much resources than what you have with Hill and Waddle already, bro. I mean, listen to the key things I told you. Shador can elevate teammates. We haven't seen that since Dan Marino and Jay Fiedler, man. That's what they passed up on. Instead, the Dolphins are stuck to the same script, much like the Cleveland Browns. And now we're sitting here watching this season unravel right before our eyes. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same results, much like the Cleveland Browns. And look, at the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders should be a Miami Dolphins. The organization had the chance, they had the picks, and they failed. And if Tua goes down or keeps regressing, Dolphin fans will remember exactly when and where this team went wrong. Now, guys, that's the truth. The mainstream won't tell you, but I will. Hit the like button, drop a comment if you think Miami should have drafted Shedeur Sanders, and subscribe for more real talk you won't get or listen to pundits give to you like ESPN, but that's neither here or there. Where's my ESPN football? Yeah, let's showcase ESPN right quick. Much like ESPN, it's not in the game. Hey, give me my theme song, man.
I've been broke so many times.